You ever go over to somebody's house and you ring the doorbell and the guy answers and he says, hey, take your shoes off. And then you go, oh, God, okay. And then he goes, hey, take your socks off. And you're like, take my socks off? And then he goes, roll up your pants. And you're like, roll the pants up? And then he puts some grapes down. He goes, start stomping on the grapes. And you're like, what the fuck are we doing? He's like, making the wine. You're making me the wine.
Hello, and welcome to the Comedy Revue.
Hi.
The new season has begun. We're out of the studio, and we are in...
To the basement.
And we're recording the new show. There's some slight changes to... okay, well, I'll say... I'm Gabriel Hughes.
And I'm Rob, still.
And this is Rob.
Hi, I'm still Rob.
We are comedy reviewers.
Yes, self-designated.
And we review comedy. We used to review live comedy, but the show's different now.
We were chased out by the heads, weren't we?
Okay, well,
Old viewers will remember this.
Please don't make callbacks to that show. It's not available online anywhere.
Yeah,
nobody could possibly.
It was chased down and eradicated.
Right. Well, yes.
But
okay.
we've moved on. This is our fresh start.
This is our fresh start, which we started with immediately referencing
and with an old name. But yes.
Okay. Well. So the new.
So wow.
The new right. The new format is we're gonna watch Netflix comedy specials instead of going to see live comedy.
Because it turns out that's what all the people are into nowadays. They all want to see the live comedy, do they?
No, live comedy's dead.
Yes.
It was never really alive. It sucks.
It's
comedy is bad.
if you think of it.
No, it's pathetic. It's full of weirdos. What's the word I'm looking for? Narcissists and freaks, and it's not funny. Whereas the Netflix is absolutely
haven.
It's a real fertile delta of just good
left
content,
field.
and it's all coming out like a one a week minimum. So we're never gonna run out.
Yes.
It will never ever stop.
No, it will not. And that's good for us, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Because we don't ever want to stop.
Yes.
Why would we?
No one wants to
It's
stop.
great. So, what did... Right, so... And welcome to the show.
Hi.
What was our first... So, we've started reviewing Netflix comedy, yeah?
Yes.
What did we think for our first episode that we would review?
So we thought long and hard about the first episode of our show.
That's right.
And we decided to do the most recent released show because that made sense. But I was really excited about this when it was revealed that the first person we would be reviewing on the show would be the Sandman himself, Adam Sandler, who has released a show out this week.
That's right.
Entitled 100% Fresh. And I've been a long time admirer of Adam Sandler's work. I really admired him in all his films from... all of his films.
Well, there was...
I've been a huge admirer of his work.
There's the one where he married a man.
Yes.
There's the one where his sister's fat.
Mm. There's one where he marries his fat sister. I know, right? It's such a good concept, and obviously he realises the mistake of it, and it's all right in the end.
No, yeah. Well, what happens at the end is it becomes very emotional, doesn't it, and beautiful.
Yeah. What did you make of the one where he married a tiger?
I thought at first it was very wacky and silly. And clearly they were having... I thought... I wish I could have been on set because they were having so much fun. I hope they had as much film... I'm sure they had as much fun filming it as I had watching it. And I'm sure they had more fun filming it than I did watching it.
It's not often you get to see a live tiger, is it?
No, well, exactly. And then at the end, though, it had a beautiful sort of sentimental bit where it's sort of all about,
It
Adam
reminded
Sandler's...
you of the true purposes of life.
Exactly. Good friends... Good fun,
Good food.
Good from Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah. Come on, right. That's right. Feel that shit on. Right. Come on, Danny. Join in on this motherfucker, would you? Yeah. So let's go. My Uber driver smells bad. Uber driver smells bad. Got a smelly Uber driver. Uber driver smells bad. Yeah. Got a smelly Uber driver. Yeah.
So, like we've said, we've been long-time admirers of his work, and we're so excited to review this.
To review Adam Sandler's 100% Fresh.
Yes.
And I'm just gonna get my notes.
Well, before
Rob,
we start,
just riff for a bit.
before we start, we'll deal with the title of the show, which is a very good title, because so many people nowadays don't understand how percentages work. And Gabriel will be with me on this, won't you, Gabriel?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you get people going around going, I've got 73% of something. And you're like, no, you haven't. You've either got a thing or you haven't. And that's how it works.
Okay, well, don't bang the table. But,
No,
yeah.
I'm sorry. This gets me... okay.
Right, okay, so... No, wait, what? So Rob's contention is that it's impossible to have less than one of anything.
Yes, that you either have a thing or you don't have a thing. 100% or 0% is what I say.
I mean, this is something we've been talking about a lot. You know, I would say, like, what if a glass of water is 3/4 full? And he'd say, well, you either have water
It's
or
full.
you don't have water.
It's
well,
full. There are degrees of fullness, but it is technically full. and you can't deny that. Like, the water is there in the glass. It doesn't go above the line.
No, this has been...
The line is full.
This has been a big thing for Rob. And he's been talking about it to me.
And for Adam Sandler, clearly, this is why I love him so much.
Yes.
He's got his finger on the pulse. He knows how the
stop
average
getting-
man thinks. The average man like me.
Yeah. So... It's either fresh or it's not fresh, I think, is the...
Yeah, you can't have something that's semi-fresh.
And most comedy isn't fresh, I think we can agree with that. Or most comedy is unfresh, it's stale.
Unfresh is the
It's
technical
the
word.
actual opposite of what
Anti-fresh.
Adam Sandler is, which is 100% fresh, the most, but also
No more, no less. 100%.
the most fresh you can be.
Yes.
But also, you can't be any less fresh other than not fresh. I think
Indeed.
is the way we've... So, 100% fresh Adam Sandler is. And Rob, can you just vamp for a minute? Because I'm looking at my notes here. I've got lost.
Okay.
It says Hegel here. I don't think this is...
Well, how do you want to start? Would you like to say, describe how the show works, or shall we just give a rough
here we go.
outline of what we thought of
Well,
it?
now, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through the show. We're going to tell you what we think of it. We're going to recommend it or not recommend it, this Adam Sandler thing. And we're just going to let you know sort of what we thought of it so you can make an informed decision before you spend an hour and...
Well, let me inform your decision, right? I'm just
Okay.
going to jump in here.
All
I
right.
loved it. So loved it, right? So, like I said, Adam Sandler has the finger on the pulse, right? So, you know what I've found,
hang on.
Gabriel?
Can I do the quick synopsis of the show so you can tell us... So everybody knows what it is that you're saying that you like so much.
Well, okay, if you insist.
I'm just gonna... Because, right, we were saying Adam Sandler's 100% fresh. Some people might say, what does that mean? Well, Adam Sandler delivers a comedy experience with an innovative style that's as funny as it is fresh.
So it's 100% funny.
It's 100% funny. There's
You are
not a
laughing all the way through.
I mean, this is something that I noticed about. I don't know about if you noticed
Yeah.
this, Rob. The audience is literally doesn't stop laughing for
What?
1 second of the entire...
Well, this is how it works. There is laughter or there is no laughter. And Adam Sandler is a comedian. We will come on to that and what defines him as a comedian. And there are funnies.
but there's
funny.
nothing that isn't funny.
There is funny. It is 100%
It's
fresh.
1 hour and 15 minutes of just funny stuff. Every single word he says is funny, and the audience literally never stops. It's incredible. The audience never stops laughing for an hour and 15 minutes. They start laughing when he walks on stage, and they don't. There's no pause.
He's a funny person, isn't he?
Well, he's a very funny guy.
If you saw an Adam Sandler in the street, you would just point and laugh, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, he's hilarious. He's one of the all-time greats. This guy. But what I think,
describe that for us, Gabriel. What is it? Specifically about Adam Sandler that makes him so funny just as a person.
Well, I tell you what, he's so real
Yeah.
and humble. Yeah.
Oh yes.
He comes on stage. He's in jeans. He's in a t-shirt.
And that's how you know someone's humble, right? By the way they wear their jeans.
He's just in a. He's not sagging his jeans, is he?
No.
He's doing it.
Man of the people.
He's a man of the people. He's wearing a hoodie or a jacket on stage. He's got his hands in his pockets.
Oh yeah, he's so anti-establishment.
You know, and some people might see that and go, you know, just put some fucking effort in, for God's sake, right? But what I think is, he's just an average Joe, right? He's not used to all this glamour, all this glitz and fame and all this stuff. All he wants to do is just hang out, have fun, do a couple jokes about women farting. And,
well,
old women getting beaten up and murdered. A lot of that.
They have it coming.
People sucking dick in space, and stuff like that, and maybe get a couple of mentions of your famous friends in.
Well,
there.
this is. Well, I think you're touching on a bit that I really loved about this show, which is the overall theme of the show. So Adam Sandler starts off. He doesn't come on stage. He is on stage. He is Adam Sandler. He is a comedian. He doesn't need to come onto the stage. He is the stage.
Yes.
100% fresh. 100% stage.
Every bit of him is the stage. Every bit of him is fresh.
Damn right. So he is there on the stage, on the carpet. He's almost performing in his own room with just a stripped back set, carpet on the floor, backing pianist, few thousand people in the audience. Yeah. He's there.
Just bare brick on the back wall.
He's just doing his songs. And it builds up, and by 50 minutes in, he decides he's not going to just do songs. He is a rock star.
Oh, yeah.
On the stage, big stadium arena, loads of admiring fans.
So this is interesting...
But this is the important thing. Throughout this, and he even gets to meet, an hour in, he meets Rob Schneider. Yeah. The Rob Schneider. Floats in and does duet, a beautiful duet about sucking dicks in space.
They pretend to perform mutual oral sex on one another.
Which is just hilarious.
But what I really like about... Okay, so...
But he never loses. By the end, he's still doing songs about being an ordinary Joe, and that's all that matters. Yeah. He is 100% fresh and 100% real and 100% funny.
We're spinning around in circles, and it feels very nice. When we kiss each other's penis tips, seems like paradise. We're traveling in light speed. Yes. It's an intergalactic ride. Well, we used to have a monkey, remember? But I fucked it till it died. Yes, we're in zero gravity, just spinning round and round. The next thing you know, I'm right side up, I am upside down. He accidentally puts his penis in my mouth, and it puts his penis in mine. Yes, it's just another accident. It's just another thing that on purpose I did. It's just... it's just another afternoon on Station 69. Go back to space. Get out of here. Take him away.
One of the strange things about it, actually, you touched on, it's not one gig, is it?
No.
It is clips, just maximum 3-minute long clips of about 7 or 8 different shows. Which I think is interesting because, you know, I said before about how the crowd literally never stops laughing for an hour and 15 minutes. That's not a joke. That's, if you listen to the audio, It is 1 hour and 50 minutes of straight, just at least a low level of laughter.
Monotone.
Just always some laughing. And I think it's possible that he needed to cut between 7 different performances of his in order to maintain what seemed like a positive
this is
crowd
heretical.
reaction.
I think you are misjudging the comedy genius of Adam Sandler. What he is showing is that, of course, he can keep a crowd guessing, and a crowd laughing even for 1 hour and 15 minutes. But he's showing that he can do this in a variety of different settings.
You think so? Well, I think that's possibly true.
I'm sensing that you weren't as enthusiastic about this as I was, Gabriel.
I thought it was, good, obviously. He's the king.
Was it 100% good or 100% not good? Is what... Well, we'll get onto that later, but tell us what you thought of the show.
So, yeah, I thought it was very confusing at times.
Really?
It's sort of like Jacob's Ladder. If Jacob's Ladder
So
was...
what is that for an ordinary Joe on the street? 100% Joe who just walking along. What is a Jacob's? And why did he have a ladder?
Jacob's Ladder is a movie about a guy who comes back from Vietnam with severe PTSD.
And what is a Vietnam for the ordinary Joe on the street?
Okay, well, it's a country in Southeast Asia where there was a war in the 60s between America and them.
Oh, well, how interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I was going to go editorialize about my thoughts about the war, but we're trying to be sort of politically neutral.
What would the ordinary Joe on the street think about the war?
I don't think they would.
They wouldn't think.
No. Oh, well, no, I'm not saying... people, are entitled... look, we don't want to get political here.
Was it 100% good war and 100% not good war is what we want to say, Gabriel.
I can't not allowed to say that. I'll say it's 100% a war.
Okay. And this is why we need Adam Sandler here, because Adam Sandler would know what to say.
I mean, this is a guy who is not scared to say the shit that really rattles the cage,
So you were talking about this ladder that you climb up.
Oh, right. So it's sort of like Jacob's Ladder in that it's shot in this incredibly...
It has a DIY feel. Is that what you mean?
Not at all.
Oh,
not
okay.
at all. What I mean is... Right, I don't know if it's PC to say it's shot in a schizophrenic way. It's very...
Since when were you interested in the PCs?
Well, I'm trying
What do the police have to say about this?
Okay, Rob.
He's got his hands in his pockets. He don't care
He's
what those
going-
polices think.
Rob's going to go off on one in a second if I let him.
Oh, dear.
But, no, I just mean... So, it's shot sort of as though... You begin to think maybe this is a movie about Adam Sandler having a fever dream about having to do stand-up comedy. About, like, some sort of nightmare scenario where he's lost so much credibility as a comedian.
Adam Sandler has not lost any credibility
Well, I'm
as
saying,
a comedian.
I'm not-
Let me say this right now.
Right, I'm not saying that Adam Sandler has damaged his credibility whatsoever by doing a series of essentially Ponzi scheme scams for every movie he's released for the last 15 years. All I'm saying is that were that to have happened, that he might be forced into a situation where he would have to prove that he can actually do comedy by releasing a Netflix special of himself doing stand-up comedy. And in that nightmare scenario, there might be sort of strange, scary cut-in sequences where he's filmed backwards walking upstairs, or there's these really intense close-ups of his sweating face, or I don't know, there's strange sort of fisheye lens shots of him in a fucking New York tube.
Oh, the New York... Can I jump in on
Please.
this? Please, can I 100% jump in on this? So this is the bit that I thought was really, really hilarious about the show, because there is a little bit of the show where it stops laughing, where they're in the tube station and they're all incognito. Adam Sandler is wearing his disguise. He's so ordinary Joe, you don't even know he's an Adam Sandler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
I mean, you can't tell because he's got his hood over his face.
And he comes on and he starts performing, and the public, the stupid, ignorant public, just walking idly by as he's doing his
Stupid
hilarious.
They have no idea.
Oh no, they don't know. And it's like, and you know You know it's Adam, don't you?
Oh yeah, well I know
can see
straight
through
away.
the disguise.
The second I saw him, I thought that's the Sandman. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's so funny because if these
They're
people
gonna feel
could
so stupid, aren't
if
they?
they just knew.
Oh my god, they must be at home cracking themselves. The
It
Sandman.
was funny.
I missed the Sandman.
I missed the funny.
I thought it wasn't funny because I thought it was just some weird hooded man on the subway singing very loud. What was he singing about? Was it
He
about
was
killing his
shouting.
grandmum's
I
roommate?
think so. Yeah.
I think the song was about so his grandmum has a roommate. She won't shut. You know how it is. She won't
Oh.
shut her mouth. She won't shut her goddamn mouth. She's always running her mouth, talking all the time. You know how it is, right?
the
You know.
listeners might have
I
grandmas.
mean, I'm
of
sure you've had that
themselves.
situation where you've got a grandma. She's got a roommate. You go to visit her, and she's, you know, and you just want to. So in the song he smothers her with a pillow, isn't that right?
Yes.
Oh, grandma's roommate, why do you talk so much? Don't you know I came to the nursing home to see my grandma? I just said hello to be polite. Now you're telling me that my grandma was rude cause she didn't share her unsugared candy. Well, I guess that calls for a death pillow over your face.
This is the thing that I really like about Adam Sandler. It is his ability to turn sane, quality advice that is purely logical for the situations,
Yeah.
but still deliver it like a punchline that gets you rolling round.
Oh my
on
god.
the
And
floor.
he's the king of punchlines. Because what Adam Sandler does, and I think this is really clever, and this is something that is, I would say, 100% fresh. And I've never seen a comedian do this before.
Oh yes.
He will sort of stretch a feed line out to the point where you think maybe he's just going to leave or start crying, or maybe the fire alarm's going to go off. Like, it just won't stop. You think maybe somebody's just going to bundle onto stage and take him off in a shock blanket. He just keeps saying words, and none of them are funny. And they're all the same words he was saying before, and he's just repeating over and over and over again the feed line, basically. And
But
then
they are funny words, though. You're still finding them
a
hilarious.
lot of them are funny. Some of the words are like pussy, fart, anal.
All the funny words. He
What
fits
was
them
one of
all
the funny
in.
words? Grandma. He said grandma a lot, or old woman. He said a lot.
Yes.
Those were fun because there's old women are so funny. Especially
yes.
you just want to sometimes you just really want to.
Children.
Oh, children.
Oh, don't. Oh, so much funny.
But yeah,
about
but then
children.
the punchline would come, and it would be such a blessed relief that the fact that the punchline is just him sort of, I don't know, saying "Maron" or something, it's. And sometimes he'll stuff the punchline by sort of laughing at it to himself before even saying it. The fact that he does those things doesn't matter because you've been sat there sweating, worried that everything's about to go horribly wrong for the last 5 minutes.
Let me tell you this, Gabriel. Let
Go
me
on.
tell you this. I sense a little bit of cynicism about the fact that you didn't seem best pleased about the fact just now that Adam Sandler might have been laughing at a few of his jokes.
Jokes are so funny.
I know they're so funny.
Even he has, and also
But
maybe
this
'cause-
is what makes him such a good comedian. You see some of the comedians on stage now,
Yeah.
just fucking deadpan all the time.
Oh my god, so
Oh,
deadpan
all
and
the
cynical.
time it's like, I am a robot, these are my
Ironic,
jokes.
sarcastic.
Oh, I don't find them funny, but
Beep,
you
boop,
should.
Beep boop
Laugh at
does
my
not
jokes.
compute. Error,
Oh, oh,
error.
oh, oh.
I cannot love.
No.
I kill all humans. Kill all humans.
Isn't all society not great today? Oh my life. Adam Sandler, though, he knows his stuff is funny and he shows
No,
you
wait,
this stuff
I
is
had no one.
funny.
Hang on.
Oh, sorry.
Hang on, sorry.
Sorry, let me retract my
just
steps. Get rid
reverse
of my point just so you can do another.
No, sorry. Sorry. There's gonna be robots.
It's better be good.
So there's a deadpan robot comedian. So I was thinking like, maybe a robot kind of deadpan robot comedian would sort of say like,
Ah.
I don't know, like, beep boop, beep boop. Hang on. Sorry, I lost it.
No, take your time.
Beep boop, beep boop. It's That's my wife. Beep. But oh no, hang on, that was too much. But you get the sort of.
And thank you so much for letting me have to go back on my point just so you could do that. That was
Well,
really
no, I
good.
didn't want to. You know, we can edit that so it
No,
works.
no, it's all good. So, I know you share your love for this show. It is 100% comedy, after
Yeah,
all.
well, it's definitely 100% comedy.
Is there possibly a peak of the show, a absolute highlight? I know you were quite fond of the hero song,
The hero song.
where he's a hero on the train.
We're on a runaway train. The conductor had a meltdown. The people in the dining car are screaming really, really loud. We need a hero, someone to save us. Yeah, we need a hero to bring us to the station. We need a hero, somebody competent. We need a hero to save the day. Yeah. So I put the engineer's hat on the top of my head. The people go fucking crazy. A guy says, you're the man, and a deaf woman signs, go get her. Then I go to the cab and I toot to whistle. That's something I always wanted to do. Then right away we fly off the bridge because I don't know what I'm doing. Thank you.
So he does this bit, and it's sort of like, he sort of goes, it's a song, and you know, almost all of it is songs. It's pretty much songs non-stop. And it's clever because songs, even if nobody laughs, you can't hear that they're not laughing because there's a song playing. And at the end, they won't laugh, but they might applaud. So it's very.
Well,
good.
this is the thing about comedy, right? If comedy, you have comedy which is either 100% funny or 100% not funny. We've established that. If your comedy is 100% not funny,
Yeah.
the audience think that you are stupid.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, they don't think that of Adam Sandler because he is the Sandman.
Well, and yeah, he's the Sandman.
But for budding comedians out there wishing to start out, I would suggest that you too also take up the musical comedian route. Because if you pick up a musical instrument and you are able to play it, you can see that this person has talent.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. That's exactly right. Because you think they can do something.
Yes.
They might not be funny. They might not have anything to say. But they can. He's doing something.
They have
up
a
there.
talent.
There's something going on. He's doing something. I can't do that, right? He's playing the piano. Well, he wasn't playing the piano. And I could probably, I can sing about as well as he could probably. And I think almost anybody could. But,
He's
you know,
not there
there's
for
a
his
bit where he
singing,
gets
is he?
a electric guitar
He's
out,
an
which is-
ordinary Joe. He's not an
Well, yeah,
opera
he's
singer.
no virtuoso, exactly. He's
He's
just
not-
an average guy like me or you.
Yes.
Just an average multi-millionaire, just like all of us. And his
Just
problems are the same as
schmucking
us.
around.
Just a schmuck.
The pilot had a heart attack. The co-pilot can't be found. The people in the aisles are screaming. They know the plane's going down. We need a hero, someone to save us. We need a hero to land the plane. We need a hero who's gonna do it. We need a hero to save the day. So I jump to my feet and I volunteer. The people on the plane all start to cheer. I get a high five from a baby and a hickey from a flight attendant. So I go in the cockpit, put the headset on, and grab the main controls. Then right away I crash the plane because I don't know what I'm doing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
So he does this song, and it's a song, like I said, like everything that he does is a song, because the trick with a song is you can't hear if people don't like it. And he does
Drowns it out, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. You can really pad out a show with songs, especially if the song is just, it's just there's one
speakers.
joke to the song.
Wheel them in.
And the punchline, if there's one single, like, one line idea to the song, and it's just basically a joke that can be told in 3 seconds, but you stretch it out to 4 minutes.
I tell you what my dream would be, Gabriel.
Go on.
Nightclub songs. You know, you go to the EDM, 2 in the morning,
Oh, yeah.
people already drunk, and you do your comedy set over the top of the EDM.
People would lap that up. People would go
Firstly-
insane for that.
Firstly, they are primed for comedy.
Oh, yeah.
Secondly, the music drowns it out.
Oh, well, exactly.
Thirdly, you can do the EDM thing where you just repeat the stuff over and over again, but as we've proven, repetition is a form of comedy.
Exactly.
I think this is the future for comedy.
Yeah.
I think I see a real crossover happening here in the future, and maybe we might see this on our
Personally,
Netflix specials.
I'm sick of the repetition in EDM. I'm sick of it.
You think it should be replaced
think
by
it's boring.
comedy repetition?
Yeah, I think it should be
Do
replaced
you
by
find
comedy in
EDM
general.
becomes funny?
No, I think it should be replaced by comedy.
So what is it about EDM that makes it 100% not funny and comedy 100% funny when you
That's
repeat it?
Very good question. I think the reason EDM is 100% not funny is because there's no jokes, and when comedians are 100% funny, they tell jokes.
Okay.
And sometimes they'll tell, like Adam Sandler, up to 6 or 7 jokes over the course of an hour and 15 minutes. And so this guy achieved an
Sometimes
incredible
the same
density.
joke,
Oh
but
well,
that's, that's the point. It can be the same joke.
You're never gonna be
You
able.
don't have to do different jokes.
Yeah,
you just
no.
have to keep doing the jokes.
7 different jokes over the course of an hour and 15. I mean, he's
Like,
only
what
got...
is he? Do you think he's a genius? No, he's an ordinary
He's
bloke.
just a normal
He's
bloke.
an ordinary Joe
He's-
who's been given a stage and a rock star crowd.
He's only got just over an hour, and by just over I mean 15 minutes more than an hour. He's only got an hour and 15 minutes to get out, as many jokes as he can. Of course, he's gonna go back and come back to the murdering old women well a couple of times.
Of course.
That's just comedy. That's how it
Finger
goes.
on the pulse. Finger on the pulse.
I mean, who does it? Who, right?
Yes.
I mean, who? amongst
Sometimes
us-
the pulse of the old ladies
Oh my
while
God,
he's
you
just
bang
to
on the
check.
desk way too much.
Just to check. He
Yeah.
has to check.
I mean, he's got to check that they're dead after he.
Finger
kills
on
them.
the pulse.
We're in a nice family restaurant. Somebody's grandma's choking on a lamb chop. There's panic in the air as Nana's face turns blue. The busboy screams in Spanish, what the fuck do? We need a hero who's gonna do it. We need a hero to clean out a windpipe. We need a hero who's down with Heimlich. We need a hero to save the day. Yeah! So I slap my napkin down on the table and I get a fucking standing ovation. Another guy gets up and says he's a doctor. I say, sit the fuck down, I got this shit. Then I wrap my arms around Grandma's chest and I look her grandkids deep in the eyes. Then right away I break all the ribs because I don't know what I'm doing. Grandma!
So he's doing this comedy song, right? And the joke of the comedy song is that I can't really do it justice, right? I mean,
course.
in the way he does it is so good.
Compared to Adam Sandler, we are 100% not funny. That is just
that
established.
is just the way it is.
But yes, carry on.
The idea is there's some sort of a disaster. An airplane is crashing, a train is crashing. Somebody needs the Heimlich maneuver performed upon them.
An old granny has got
An old
in the
granny,
way.
probably an old granny. Yeah.
Caused it, of course.
Probably an old granny who dies. And in fact, it did turn. I mean, this is not, spoilers, but it turns out in the song there is an old granny who needs the Heimlich maneuver performed on her because they're the funniest sort of people to be in danger or harmed.
They get in the way, don't they?
Oh man, I mean, if
Don't
I want
get me
somebody to
started.
die in a joke, I want it to be somebody that I consider to be useless to society. Otherwise, I'm worried that what will happen. Who will we replace them with?
Yes.
Old people, you just replace them with. You don't have to replace them because they're just taking up space.
This is a worry you have with a lot of jokes, is that the victims of jokes you often would worry will actually become actual victims in real life.
I mean, yeah.
and
Absolutely.
that if people die in jokes, they may actually die in real life.
And if they do, who will do their jobs?
Of course.
Now, the funny bit is, right, I know there's been a lot of preamble here.
Yes.
But
And rightly so.
I mean, exactly. First of all, it's a complex joke. It needs a lot of explanation. Second of all, right, if this is... Imagine how ready you feel to hear the punchline now, right? Just imagine it was this, but with Adam Sandler doing it
Oh,
instead.
yes.
And it maybe took more than the amount of time it's taken us to get to this point, right? So he's there's a disaster, okay? And what happens is Adam Sandler, the Sandman,
as he
as
is
he's
affectionately known by
affectionately
himself.
known by some...
himself.
he stands up and says, I'll do it. I'll save the life, or I'll save the thing, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the sort of funny thing is that he fails to do so, given his lack of. I know you're laughing, but no, I know. It's all right.
Sorry.
No, we need a little moment here to collect ourselves because. Because the thing is that he's got no training in any of the things. He can't drive
He's just
a plane.
an ordinary Joe.
He's just a normal guy.
He's 100%.
He's just like me.
fresh,
He's just
but
like you. He's got a wife. It's the whole same thing.
Yes. He's got kids.
He's married.
He's awkward about gay sex like you.
Yeah, exactly. He finds that to be a little much.
Yes. Little taboo.
A
You
little,
know
yeah.
what I mean? Little bit. What's going in there?
What's going on?
Oh dear.
So he does this joke where, so he can't do the thing. He fails to do the thing. He fails to land the plane, right? And it's this whole song about, how he stands up and he strides to the front of the plane. There's a lot of preamble, and the joke is that he can't save the plane. And then there's a little pause for laughter and applause, right? So there's a little break for everybody to sort of come to terms with what they've heard.
To laugh at the hilarious.
To laugh at the hilarity of it, yeah. I mean, it's not 100% funny.
The tragedy of the crash. And
hey, if you
think of all the grannies that were on the plane, is what all I have to say.
I mean, that's why I think the train one's the funniest
Because there's more casualties.
The most grannies could have died in that one. The Heimlich maneuver,
God.
only one granny dies. The plane
yes.
probably,
But think how many
of,
Heimlich maneuvers he has to do in an evening, right?
I mean, well, but only one actually happens in the course of the joke, so it's only as
Yes.
funny as one dead granny.
It is.
Whereas
that
the
is
train
fair.
one
but
is-
it's still 100% funny.
The train one could be as funny as, up to 600, 700 dead grannies, which
yes.
is
And there could be some on the track
fucking
as well.
hilarious. Well, I mean, you didn't even mention.
Once
And
he's
actually,
put
I think
there
it's-
in advance.
I was
you know?
thinking when I was watching it, this isn't 100% fresh. This isn't 100% funny.
No.
This is 100% hilarious.
Oh yes.
You know?
Am I right? Am I right? What this is. You all right, Gabriel? You got over it.
My point being that was my favorite bit, because after he does the whole long, it's a long song about where basically it's just about him going to the front of the plane and then he crashes the plane. Pause for laughter, pause for applause. It's pretty funny. A lot of grannies died. Next song, a train's about to crash, right? Now, at this point, the whole audience, obviously the music's playing, bum, 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 booty, widdly, weety pee. He's on the train, and the audience is going, right? The audience is going, I think I know what's going to happen here, aren't we? We're all sort of sitting around going, I think I can kind of guess where this is going, right? We think we're a step ahead of the Sandman, but we've also got in the back of our head, this is the Sandman I'm talking about here? Is he really just going to say the same joke again? But then the crazy thing is, he does say the same joke again. It is exactly the same joke. Almost word for word, except the word train instead of the word plane. They're not even that different as words, right? That's the repetition.
But still, the grannies die.
Right, eventually, the noise dies down, the raucous laughter, the uproarious applause dies down, and you hear those first few notes on the piano start again. Bump, 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 poodle, weedle, weedle, whoop. And he says, somebody in the restaurant needs the Heimlich maneuver. And now the
what's that
crowd...
for the ordinary Joe on the street? What is a Heimlich?
Well, the Heimlich maneuver...
No, what is a Heimlich? We'll get onto the maneuver in a minute.
it's a German last name, I think, or maybe just
Okay.
Western European.
Doesn't matter, they're all the same.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, and what is a
Could be Austrian.
maneuver?
A maneuver is sort of I suppose a movement, an action, a
Okay.
coordinated one or a practiced one.
So he's taking action on an Eastern European, that's all we need to know. Which is hilarious. And
Yes.
it's a granny as well.
Yes. Well, it is literally a granny. So, he establishes early on that it's a granny that's choking. So already, people who weren't laughing because it was the same exact premise as the last two songs are laughing because a granny might die, right?
It wasn't explicit in the train or
And
the
then
plane.
again, long preamble about, he's going over, he's standing up, the whole audience is applauding. He goes over to give the Heimlich maneuver. And you know what? We were talking about this before. Every sympathy for the guy. he can't stop himself from laughing out loud.
Oh,
he
yes.
cracks up. He goes, as he says, "I break 3 of her." Was it 3 of her ribs or all of her? All of her fucking ribs. I think he
all of
says.
them.
But he's laughing. He's going,
100% of the ribs.
100% of her fucking ribs. I break them because I don't know what I'm doing. Right.
Crushes them like a twig.
And there's one of the most interesting shots.
Because he doesn't look like a strong man, so you don't expect him to crush all of the ribs.
No, but he does crush
He's
every
a little
rib.
weaselly guy.
He's sort of, he kind of looks very old and sort of sad
Yes.
and sweaty. But there's 2 of the most interesting shots in the show back to back after that, where you get a shot of the audience after he finishes that song, just sitting there stone-facedly clapping at a different tempo to the clapping you're hearing in the audio. And and not laughing despite the fact that you can hear uproarious laughter in the audio. And then you get another one, which is a brilliant shot, which is a very tight close-up of an old woman in the audience.
They found a granny in
They
the
found a
crowd.
granny, and she just looks...
Thousands of people in the crowd. There was a granny.
She just looks sort of...
Oh my days.
She just looks
Oh.
confused.
They brought a granny out.
She just sort of looks into the camera
Brought a granny into the public.
like as if to say, I'm sorry that I'm not... I don't know what you want from me. She gives this look into the camera like, I wish I could do what you need me to do now, but I feel lost. So that was my favourite bit of the
So
show.
he jumped in the crowd and broke all her ribs, didn't he?
Yes.
That did
Would
make
that
the
he
cut.
had, though. Would that he had
Oh.
those fucking grannies.
Oh, God.
So, Rob, what was your favourite?
Well, like I said,
Bit.
he has his finger on the pulse. This is a guy whose ultimate desire in life is not to read books. He orders the books off Amazon,
Oh, yes.
which
Now-
which is what I love to see. We have had product placement in movies. We now have product placement in Netflix comedy specials.
You know what?
Jokes about ordering stuff from Amazon.
I'm not kidding, right? Definitely got paid to name drop Amazon. That is Adam Sandler's whole like shtick.
He's a man. He's an ordinary Joe. He just needs to scrape as much
I mean,
money
he does.
as he can.
He's just trying to get a few bucks in his back pocket
Yeah.
just for pocket money. But he definitely got paid for name dropping Amazon. And B, big, no camera on the audience for this, but huge laughter for mentioning Amazon. Massive, like people.
Because grannies
Amazon.
order stuff from
Oh my
Amazon,
God.
don't they?
People were going crazy for that.
Oh.
And now, the
And
thing
it's
about
in-
this books thing, we have to, full disclosure, wasn't actually written by Adam Sandler. As with about half of the songs that he plays in that
Majority
show,
of the
I'd say the
songs.
majority of the songs that he plays throughout that show, unfortunately the credits do reveal, they were written by the guy who plays piano for him,
Yes.
and performed by Adam Sandler.
Yes.
So full
Vocally
disclosure, before you
performed.
go, oh, this is the funniest thing in the world. I love Adam Sandler. You know, we all love Adam Sandler, but this is actually the work of a guy. I don't know his name. Nobody knows his name. Nobody knows how much he was compensated for doing half the work on Adam Sandler's show, and actually being the only reason any of it was even remotely
And
palatable.
also chuckling in the background
And also, he does some great stuff.
when it needs a little boost.
Yeah, so nobody knows really
When the
anything much about this guy.
100% comedy is dying out a little.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's 100% comedy, but, you know, sometimes the audience sort of doesn't get it or whatever.
Don't care.
Yeah, well, maybe it's
Forget-
just... I mean, honestly, I think it's just so funny that he naturally laughs. That's what I think.
Yes.
You know, when he's up there and he sort of goes like, he talks at great length about, say, what have we got here? What was one of these jokes that he said? Let's have a look. And I've got UFC ears.
Yes.
So he's doing a
whatever
song
they
about
are.
how people who do combat sports often have very badly damaged ears, right? Misshapen ears, and
Visually misshapen.
And he's
Still
got
work
some-
on the inside, you know. But
and sort of he says UFC ears like, I don't know, 17 to 30 times in that. So I mean, to be fair, I think this was another one that was written by the piano guy.
yeah, the piano guy. You can see he's been learning the Adam Sandler chops, but he doesn't quite have his finger on the pulse.
Well, this is the thing is that
he
I think
has
he's
his
learned...
finger on the piano pulse, but not on the what the audience.
I mean,
want.
you guys will know what we mean when we say that he has his finger on the piano pulse. But he clearly has taken some pointers from his mentor Adam Sandler there, because he loves to laugh at the songs he's written. It's always the songs that he's written where you get a little chuckle from the piano guy. Just like Adam Sandler, where he's delivering a great line of one of his great lines, and he'll sort of crack up laughing because it's too funny to deliver straight face, like some kind of robot. Ooh, eat, boop, bop. Oh,
This is a joke.
Welcome.
Laugh at the
welcome.
grannies.
Come sit down. It's a train crash. Not literally. But
Some
not literally,
grannies
but,
died.
metaphorically, some of it is a bit of a train crash, isn't it?
Sorry.
I am gonna read a book, read a book, read a book. Gonna be a better man than I am. So I go to Amazon, Amazon.com, and I buy a dozen books. Lots of books, smart books. They will ship them right away in a day. And I have Amazon Prime, so it doesn't cost a dime. So I look at my new book, take a look at my book. Right away I tune out, don't like reading, get distracted, so I turn on my TV good, reading bad, and I watch Property Brothers for 11 fucking hours.
So what's your favorite bit again? What are you saying?
Well, like I was saying, he is a guy with his... He likes to sit on the toilet with his phone. That is his main aspiration in life.
Yeah.
Which is an aspiration for every ordinary Joe, I'm sure.
Oh, that's right, isn't it? Instead of reading books, he sits on the toilet on his phone.
Yes.
And you get a little... So
And that's the punchline. That is the point in which you applaud him and go, yes, this guy knows what he's talking about.
I mean, one of the great things about that Adam Sandler show is there's a lot of visual aids. For people who sort of can't imagine Adam Sandler on the toilet on his phone, there's a big sort of projection screen, isn't there, behind him that shows a photo of Adam Sandler on the toilet on his phone.
As if you couldn't imagine it.
Well,
Yeah.
and just in case, you're a little impaired for whatever reason, maybe you were an Adam Sandler fan, and there's this huge sort of round of applause when everybody gets to see him sort of squatting over his phone on the toilet. And actually, it almost sells a bit of a rags to riches story, doesn't it? Because he's back in the day, he was in the cellar. One of those shows. I mean, it's kind of a shame that they didn't shoot the entire thing from the show that was in the same basement he started out at, but for whatever reason, they decided that entire show uncut was not fit for airing. So, but some of it is in that basement he started out at. It's all about, how he worked his way up through SNL, through all of the, all of his movies and stuff to become the big star that he is. And so, you've got, on the one hand, you've got him in the subway screaming about murdering grannies, but then, later on, you've got him, this huge light show, this big, musical extravaganza. There's big projected images behind him, and he's screaming about murdering grannies, and it's a real, not rags to riches in the normal sense where sort of they get really rich temporarily and then everything's destroyed for them and they understand humility or whatever. He just keeps going up and up and up and up and up and up.
But
and
he
up.
never loses sight of where he's from.
No, exactly. He remains humble through things like wearing jeans and talking about how he has a wife.
And sitting on the toilet. And
So, yes.
and the bit that I thought was a real... I thought that... I mean, I must admit, Gabriel, now you've started talking about it like this, I'm starting to have a bit second thoughts about...
Oh, no, I don't want you to put you off it. You seem to be enjoying it so much.
I was, for example, with the hero thing, I thought this is really good at the time, but now I'm thinking... In all of his movies, he would have saved that plane, wouldn't he?
That's true.
At the end of the day, it would have turned out that he didn't have a pilot's license, but he could have learnt in 10 minutes.
I mean, this is like... if this
Could
was
have got his
Pixels,
phone out and checked it up on the internet.
If this was Pixels...
Get a bit of a Google reference in there,
Yes, absolutely. He would definitely have... Or you could have
Missed
binged it.
opportunity, yeah.
Googled or binged it.
Whoever gave him the most
Well,
money.
exactly. Asked Jeeves if they still exist.
Yeah, well, I don't think Jeeves have...
No, I mean, I'm just doing that classic comedy joke.
Oh, okay.
You name drop a not commonly
Something,
used
a search engine that grandmas would
yeah,
use.
say AOL or something.
Lol, lol, lol.
I mean, yes. Lol, lol, lol.
The well-known internet providing search engine. Made
so-
for grannies.
What you were saying? Oh, yeah. So, like, if this was Pixels, right? not only would he have killed all the aliens and stuff and saved the world, and it would have been great, and that, you know, it wouldn't have been a big punchline for him failing to do it because he was unqualified, but, you know, his friend Jason Alexander would be president, and he's a shit heel. So, you know, people who suck would be great at everything in those movies, which, you know, kind of contravenes the point of that song a little bit. But I guess you have to wonder where the man Adam Sandler, who I think that's what we're seeing on stage, the sort of raw.
These are people who actually suck, not people who suck in his show like Rob Snyder would snuck on Station 69. These are people who...
They don't really... I mean, just to be clear, in the song Station 69 about sucking each other's dicks in space, they don't actually suck each other's dicks. They make a really big show of actually being really uncomfortable with the idea of
They have helmets in the way. They do helmets protecting from the helmets.
They do a great thing of sort of like, you know, Rob Schneider is upside down, Adam Sandler's together, and they're sort of holding their heads near each other's crotches, but they're doing a very...
Because they're a similar height. They're both really short.
They're doing a really funny sort of like turning their face away a little bit, sort of like, oh, this is a bit awkward, this is a bit embarrassing. You know, in case you were worried from them that they would suck each other's cocks.
Because I was thinking, I thought that was really funny at the time, but I'm sort of thinking the grannies would like that, wouldn't they?
Oh, yeah.
Is that he's meant to be aiming it at the ordinary Joes, not the granny.
Yeah, I mean, the ordinary Joe would like the show, though. That's what I'm saying. I think, you know, he's so humble, he's so down to earth. You know, he talks about his wife. That's one of my favourite lines in the show.
This is a bit. There was a bit where he starts talking about how vaginas fart, which is I think is hilarious. Like Adam Sandler, I too am really short, so all the time as I'm walking around the street, I am confronted with farting vaginas at my ear level. You know.
Yeah. If you guys want to come see Rob live, he's got this bit. He talks about he's quite short, and so sort of vaginas sort of are farting in his face a lot, and it's sort of 10-15 minutes about that, and it's very sort of it's very real, it's very raw, and obviously he wanted to sort of bring it into the show a little bit, but we'll just have a little 10 minutes of it.
Thank you so much for giving me a chance to.
Well, let's just hear a couple more lines of the.
Okay. Yes. So okay. See. Sorry, I'm doing the Adam Sandler thing. My material is...
I'm feeling very connected to you right now. I'm feeling
very... Ordinary Joe is about to speak.
Yeah, exactly. So
you see these vaginas they have nowadays? I mean, not literally, but you know, I haven't seen them. I'm a lonely boy.
And it's sort of like that for.
You seen them? Well, not how they fart all the time. You might be a short person like me. You might be a young kid in the audience.
Right.
You're thinking, what are these things that are farting? And it's like they're called vaginas, and they just let rip.
Right, yeah.
Like I can't do it like Adam Sandler. I am not a Sandman.
No, but it's a lot better. In
maybe he's not an ordinary Joe. Maybe he doesn't just speak for me, because I can't speak like him like he can about vaginas.
Well,
he speaks differently about it.
My wife one time hit me in the face with a combo platter. She hit me with the vagina to the mouth, up high. At the very same time, hit me in the neck with the other. She came up high and down low at the very same time. Fucking don't know it happened one time in 20 years. Just fucking bam in the face, one in the neck. Fucking hit me hard. It was like the perfect storm. We don't know what she was eating that day, but whatever the fuck it was, she got me good. I gotta say, it literally felt like somebody opened the door on a fucking airplane. Like it was like whoa. There was debris in the air and fucking other passengers were floating through my fucking room. Oxygen mask dropped down, you know.
There's a really good bit actually in the show where he sort of goes, you know, my wife, and I love it when he mentions his wife. My favorite bit in the show is actually when he goes, any married people out there? Any married people? Give me a shout.
And this is the other thing, like
Well, hang on.
Okay.
Hold on.
Sorry.
I know you're checking your notes like I've got my next thing to say.
Well, no, I had something that was related.
Let's slow down.
I'll do it in a minute.
So, but I like when he goes, because this is quite a long bit that I had planned, right?
Okay.
He goes, any married people in the house? Anybody married? You know, and people sort of react really well to that. And I love it when comedians sort of go. That's one of my favorite things. I always go completely insane when I hear a comedian go, you know, hey, anybody in here married? Anybody?
I love that because it's a 100% question, isn't it? You're either 100% married or you're 100%
Well, that's
not
the
married.
really clever bit is when some comedians will go, hey, anybody in here? Hey, give me a shout if you're married. And they people go fucking insane for that because that's so funny to just join in. People just want to join in and get involved. But then the next great bit is
I remember back in the day when I tried comedy. Just a quick anecdote.
Just one moment. Just hang on one second because I'm not finished the thought. So you know, and everyone go, wow, yeah, because it's so funny to think about being married. But then they'll go, right. That's the really clever trick. Anybody in here not married? Everybody goes. All anybody wants to do is join in. All anybody wants to do is have a good time. And just be there. And what's great is what the comedian's done there is he's guaranteed, or she's, you know.
That she's?
Or she's guaranteed.
You mean grannies? Oh.
Sorry.
Okay.
I didn't mean to give you that response. I meant to be more more supportive than that. That was...
Okay.
No, I apologise.
Okay. Well,
anyway, but what they...
No,
hang on. Just 1 second, right? So
Okay.
what the comedian's done there is they've guaranteed support from the entire audience. That's 100% of the audience covered. Everybody married?
Absolutely.
Anybody not married? That's it. Everybody's on your side.
Now, this is my problem, because I remember back in the day when I tried the comedy, and as you can see with the vagina stuff, I still have a bit of a way to go.
No, I thought that was good. I didn't think that was good. I thought that was good.
Thanks. But I don't have my fingers on it like Adam Sandler.
No.
He has fingers on all the vaginas. You know?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was...
No, go on.
So I remember when I was doing my stand-up, I come on stage all bouncy and stuff, and I'm like, what's your favourite colour?
Yeah.
You know, and it's not 100%, is it? Because someone just shouted out, like, red.
Yeah.
And
you
someone's
never
like,
get a
blue.
good response from the audience with what's your
It's
favourite
like-
colour.
Yeah, it's like...
It's a mess.
And then I went, what's not your favourite colour? It's not the same...
No.
It's not the same... It's not 100... Yeah.
That's a terrible choice of thing to do.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that was one of the reasons it went so
But I
well.
realise that now. He's educational, at least.
It was very educational. And so he's talking about his wife. Are you married? Who's in here is married? Oh, yeah, everybody goes mental. He says his wife farted and pussy farted, or queefed, if you will. He doesn't actually ever say the word queef in the show.
Because it's not a funny word.
It was, no, not nearly
Not
as funny
as
as
funny as-
pussy fart,
Yeah.
which was hilarious. So she pussy farted, or queefed. But like I said, he said pussy fart.
Because he is a comedian
and
with his finger on the pulse.
She farted. You could say ordinary fart. You could say anus fart or arsehole farted in his face at the same time as she pussy farted or queefed. And he sort of kept vamping on this, bigging it up. Oh my god, it was crazy. It was like a big typhoon in my face. It blew my hair off, whatever. And it was interesting because, again, you've got that low-level laugh audio track, but there's a lot of cutting to and from the audience in that bit, and people are really not responding to that at all.
But
there was very little pickup for that bit.
I didn't get that, because for me, comparing being attacked by vagina farts and being part of a natural disaster is a very real thing for me.
Yeah.
I feel like I am a living natural disaster every day.
Yes.
I walk down the high street, you know what I mean? Well, you don't, but because you're not my height.
I'm not that short, no.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You wouldn't know my pain.
No. I mean, if you are sort of 2 to 2.5 to 3 feet tall, go
Like
see
me and
Rob.
Adam
Go see
Sandler.
Rob live, because he really has this great bit, and you'll really understand it. About I've never had a pussy fart in my face while I'm walking. I mean, or queef, if you will, while I'm walking on the street. But Rob's had it happen a lot, and I think it's important that people have art that they can relate to. So not a lot of pickup for pussy fart and anus fart at the same time, even though he clearly thought it was very funny. He was laughing a lot when he was saying it. He was really vamping a lot. He did a lot of preamble before saying it, and then a lot of sort of post-amble after saying it, just sort of acting it out and sort of doing a lot of waving around. And just absolutely nothing. Like, really very, very little response.
I think that was the audience of grannies he was performing to.
It was very strange. But, you know, like I said, there's still that low-level laugh, which I don't know if is in post. I mean, that would be very cynical of me to say that 3/4 of all the laughter you hear throughout the Netflix special is just post-edited
Are you
laughter.
saying that the editors gave up? after an hour.
No, I think there was laughter in there, but you cut to the audience and there was clearly not nearly the response you expected, and he kind of flapped for a bit, which you don't expect from a professional like the Sandman.
But he's still 100% funny.
Oh my god, he's 100% funny. He loves to mention his wife. He's so normal. So there's a bit at the end where this is where it really started to get me. This is when
What
I
do you
thought,
mean, get you?
well, this is when I felt really emotionally involved with it. I suddenly realized, hey, this isn't just funny. This is kind of beautiful.
Yes.
And that's when he does a sort of 2.5, 3 minute long guitar solo to a slideshow of images. What's that fucker's name? Chris Hayes or something?
Chris Farley.
Chris Farley.
Who's only been dead 21 years. It's still raw in his heart.
So, yeah, a 2.5, genuinely 2 or 3 minutes electric guitar solo while there is a light show playing and just pictures of Chris Farley on the screen behind him.
Because he's such a funny bloke.
I mean, he talks. There is obviously
there's-
lyrics to the song. There's
The
lyrics.
thing I love about the lyrics to the song is there's only really a verse in the song, which is clearly the verse where Adam Sandler was like, come on.
Yeah.
He took the music off his piano person, because most of the song, it could have been written by anyone who had never even met the bloke, maybe heard of a couple of his characters. It just referenced some of his characters.
There's a lot of referencing his characters for sure.
And Adam Sandler, you could tell he came in as like, one verse I need to talk about, even if it's just made up, his memory must be a bit foggy after 20 odd years.
Well, there was an amazing
Just
bit where
say a few things about what he was like as a person.
so he sang
drinking
the
alcohol.
bits of it that were sang. That weren't just the long guitar solo in the middle. Was
very powerful though.
I wouldn't say. Well, I would sort of inexplicably in a southern sort of cowboy accent. I don't know if you remember. And obviously, it's very important to him that he revere his lost friend Chris Farley and that he be very respectful. So he chose to do this sort of funny southern sort of country accent while he did it. And he did this great verse where he did. And I can't remember the exact lyrics, but it was along the lines of like.
I saw him in the office crying with his headphones on, listening to a Casey and the Sunshine Band song. I said, buddy, how the hell's that making you so sad? Then he laughed and said,
it reminded you of your dad. And then there's pictures on the screen behind him of Chris Farley and his dad. And that's when the guitar solo starts.
And it reminded the audience of his dad.
The most incredible, honestly, just the weirdest thing I've literally... It might genuinely be...
But
if I had
still
been there in
touching.
person, I would have... That would have been it for me. That would be the end of my sanity and my ability to understand really anything about what's going on in my life. That was the maddest thing I've seen any performer, the weirdest decision I've ever seen any performer make is to do this strange, rambling southern accent country rock song about the dead comedian Chris Farley at the end of his long, bad act of songs about common situations like pussy farts and train crashes, right? It was the strangest thing I've ever seen. And then it ends, and that's not the end of the show.
Hang on, Gabriel. Are you suggesting for a minute that maybe for a second he didn't have his finger on what the Ordinary Joe was thinking? Are you saying that song might not have appealed to the Ordinary Joe?
I gotta tell you, I think most people wouldn't think that much about... I think most people go, oh, that's sweet, he misses his friend Chris Farley. And they would kind of forget that they'd spent probably quite a lot of money to come out and see Adam Sandler comedian do comedy, and they were standing there just watching a slideshow of dead comedian Chris
But
Farley.
He had a funny face.
Well, you know,
And he
It was
dresses up
funny
as
in
a
a way.
grandma in one of them, which I thought was super funny.
yes, I mean, he does, doesn't he?
Because you can tell
funny.
it's ironic, because he's
Yeah.
fat.
I mean, he's not. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff Chris Farley did was really funny because he is so fat. It was great. In fact, he mentions a bunch of fat dead comedians in the song, which is all brilliant and a very sensitive artistic choice. I thought from Adam Sandler.
Really makes you relate to the bloke.
And then the song ends, and then he sort of waits for the audience to die down, and then he goes, "Okay, I've got another song for you. It really means a lot to me, or whatever." And then we have a second, like, tear-jerker, emotional song about how much he loves his wife.
But he has to appeal to the rock star crowd as well as the comedy crowd,
I
Gabriel.
mean, genuinely, like a 3 or 4 minute long, maybe 5 minute long song, just singing about how much he loves his wife, how great his wife is, funny stuff. Not funny, no jokes. Not a single joke in the
No,
song.
of course not. He's appealing to the ordinary.
That's not true, actually. There is one joke, and he laughs at it while he's saying it. The joke is, I can't remember what he says exactly, but he says, like, he rhymes something with try new positions with me. And the idea of trying new positions with his wife, he goes, ha ha ha, while he's saying it. And the audience doesn't really respond, because they're obviously too invested.
Because they've been together for so long, so they know all the positions.
I mean, the audience is so invested in how beautiful and touching this tribute to his wife, post-tribute to Chris Farley, making up entirely the last 10 minutes of this hour and 15-minute long comedy show that he chose to do, Adam Sandler chose to do. Adam Sandler, who must be surrounded by a swarm of PR people, of, you know, agents, managers, producers, people who could have told him at some point, this is insane. This is the weirdest thing you could have chosen to end your comedy show on. This is so bizarrely, like, self-indulgent and strange and actively disregarding to the idea that you're doing a comedy show, which is the main reason that you've chosen to do this, to prove that you're a comedian, not that you love your wife or miss Chris Farley. But nobody stepped in and said that to him. He managed to get away with that. He did that entire mad thing. And then the show just ends after that song. It just ends after a long song. I think the last lyrics of the song, the last lines of his comedy show are the names of his children. And then he just walks off stage.
Yeah, well.
And then the credits roll.
Okay.
It is insane.
But, on the plus side, he didn't do a song about his grandma.
Now, we don't need a big house, we don't need any money. All we need is you and me and Sadie and Sonny. I got everything I want, growing old with you. And this goes for all of you guys here tonight. Thanks for growing old with me. All right, y'all. Thank you so much.
I don't know if you know, but I figured out why he did that, right?
Have you? You have some insider information. This is why you need to listen to
The comedy
our show,
review, yeah.
because we give you the at the end of the show. If you stick around, we give
you the scoop.
Yeah, slide it in there.
So let me just slide in the scoop. I think that it's the same formula as his terrible movies.
His what?
His bad shit movies that suck.
Which movies are you referring to here?
All of them. I think there's like a really weird one that I thought was good, but I think it was Paul Thomas Anderson, not him.
You mean Punch Drunk Love?
That's the one, yeah. That was
I didn't like that one.
I thought it was weird.
Because it didn't have the cathartic ending to it that so many of
Well, exactly. I mean, this is what I think. I think the Adam Sandler premise is, right, it is an hour of him and his friends just having fun, being goofy, right, doing funny voices, their nuts get
Laughing
hurt,
at
they do
grandmas.
farting, they shit.
Everything farts.
They fall down. All this sort of stuff happens. Something embarrassing happens. Somebody makes a joke about something, you know.
Laughing at people who
Somebody's
read books.
fat, somebody's old, somebody's disabled.
Yes.
All these things happen. It's very funny. And then the last half an hour of the show is just this very beautiful, touching, incredibly mawkish, sentimental, hollow, cynical shit. Where they sort of go, okay, yeah, we've had a good time here. But remember how you have a daughter. You have a wife. And remember how much they mean to you. And feel sad about that. And feel appreciative about that. And have a moment of emotionality that will make you think this movie was, hey, there was a real depth of emotion to this movie. There was a real depth of meaning. I feel like it wasn't just fun all along. At some points, Adam Sandler had to apologize to his wife. And that was really touching.
About making the movie, or,
Or
during
whatever.
the movie?
At some point, Adam Sandler, I don't know, reunites with his kids, or he falls in love with somebody, or his mum something, or whatever, and everybody in the audience goes, oh my god, he is just a normal guy, and he's got normal problems, and they mean a lot to us, and we really identify with that.
So at the end of the day, he is an ordinary Joe on the street, and that's what makes him such a great comedian.
A multi-millionaire. And actually, that's one of my favorite lines in the song. And I think it might be the last line in the song about his wife is, "We don't need a lot of money. I just need you and me." And then the names of his children. And then that's the last line.
He doesn't need the children need the money, don't they?
Preposterously rich man
The
who
children need the
actively,
money.
cynically is ripping off gullible audiences every day of his existence. And he has the gall to say he doesn't need a lot of money in a sappy song designed to make
So,
people
Gabriel,
cry.
Gabriel, in an attempt to wrap this up,
Yeah.
one line. Was the show 100% funny or 100% not funny?
It was 100% funny. 10 out of 10.
100% funny.
Yeah. Or 1 out of 1, more accurately.
Excellent.
So I'll tell you a little story about Disney World. You want to hear a true Adam Sandler story? Please. Okay. So you guys have been to Disney World, right? The families have been. Who doesn't have kids and still goes to Disney World? You fucking stoners. I'm on to you. All right, so I go to Disney World recently with my wife and the 2 kids. My kids wanted to go on this roller coaster. They were very excited, so we wait on the line, and we're waiting. The lines are very long, so it takes like an hour and 15 minutes. We get to the front of the line, and then the roller coaster, we find out, only takes 3 people at a time. So there's 4 of us, and I see my wife and the 2 kids just immediately start walking to the thing, and I was like, we're not even gonna flip a coin, not even a thought, right? They're like, oh no. I was like, yeah. And so I'm sitting there very angry, and I'm stewing like I waited a fucking hour and 15 minutes to go on this fucking shit with you guys, and you fucking bail on me. And then I see it happens to some other dad from Oklahoma. He's muttering, he's like, goddamn motherfucker, leave me this shit. And I'm like, yeah. And then I say to the other dad, I go, you want to fucking me and you go on it together? And he's like, what? I go, well, I'm not going alone. Let's fucking do this shit. I'll go with you. And he's like, yeah, whatever the fuck you want, whatever. And so, so I get on the roller coaster with the guy, and we're both not talking to each other. The roller coaster takes off, and you know how they take off so fucking fast that both our necks snap back, and we look at each other, and he's like, ooh, that got me. I was like, oh yeah, that was fucked up. And we start laughing a little bit, and we're fucking all of a sudden loosening up, and we're fucking doing all the jetting, banging into these fucking crazy turns. I'm fucking leaning, 100% leaning on the guy. He's looking at me like, what the fuck? I was like, hey, here we are. And we're laughing our asses off. And I'm like, holy shit, I haven't been this happy in at least 11 years. I know that. But whatever, I'm fucking jetting around, fucking do a loop-de-loop, was fucking bumping my fist. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker. He's like, yeah, baby. We get to the end, the fucking, you know how the brake comes out of nowhere, fucking screeches on, both our fucking heads snap again. He's like, they got it again. I was like, fuck yeah, we'll never learn. And so then we're creeping up to the, getting off the ride, how it's like a little slow exit, and we're sitting there, and I feel this crazy pain in my heart. And I'm like, did I fucking fall in love with this guy or some shit? What happened there? And he's not looking at me. I'm like, this guy feels it too, because he's in a fucking daze. And we're both, and my kids are like, come on, let's go to Peter Pan. I was like, oh, fuck it, in a minute. I'm yelling at the kids too loud, and I gotta say goodbye to the man. And I get off, I go, hey, nice to meet you. He's like, yeah, nice to meet you. And he won't look at me, and we're both all fucked up. He goes back to his family, I go back to mine. I'm walking away, and in my head, I'm like, I'm never gonna see that fucking guy again, and I don't feel good about that. And then I go, but they take your picture though on those rides, just for memory's sake. Just what the fuck? Let me go see. Maybe they snapped us, maybe they didn't. But if they did, why not fucking? Let's just see. And so we go to the. I go to that place where there's the fucking monitor up. And sure enough, there's a picture of me and the guy. upside down in the loop-de-loop, staring so deep into each other's eyes. It was fucking bananas. I was like, okay, he felt it. He definitely felt it too. So I say to the lady behind the counter, hey, how much is that? And the lady goes, $65. I was like, oh, okay. And then I take my phone out and I fucking snap a shot of it. And then I feel this energy behind me. I look back and it's the guy from Oklahoma. He's holding the picture he just bought. And he was like, I wasn't worth it.